Welcome to the Spike Camp podcast. Spike Camp is a free online community for hunters that support conservation. It's a great place to share stories and your experience with other hunters. As a member of Spike Camp, you get access to all of our hunting live streams, discussion channels, contests, hunter resources, and events that we host. Membership to Spike Camp is free. Our only ask is that you are a member of a hunting or conservation group before you register. Head over to spikecamp.com to join us.
Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's Camp Chat. We have a very special episode tonight, and we're extremely excited and proud to announce the partnership between the Wild Sheep Foundation's Women Hunt program and Spike Camp. Tonight we are joined by Women Hunt founder and chair Reneé Thornton and a few of her colleagues from the Women Hunt team. So I think we should start by doing a little round the horn self-intro. So let's start with you, Reneé. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about Reneé.
Okay. Thanks so much, Chuck, and thanks very much for having us. I'm Reneé Thornton. I was born and raised in Alberta, where I lived until 2019 when I moved to Montana, which is where I now live permanently. I had a long career in Alberta and Canada and well-grounded roots. In my mid-40s, I decided to start to learn to hunt. I figured out how to do that on my own, obviously with a little bit of help from some friends, but that path led me through this wondrous journey 7 years later, and I'm really, really proud to be part of the hunting and conservation community.
That's awesome. Adult onset hunter, I guess, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a lot of those on Spike Camp, and it's so cool. We get a lot of people sharing knowledge and resources, so that's awesome. How about you, Brandi? You're next.
My name's Brandi Love. I reside just outside of Calgary, Alberta, in a community called Cochrane. I'm originally from Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, and if we have any waterfowl hunters, they will know that that is the mecca of waterfowl hunting. I actually grew up, our family's farm, the fence line divided Delta Marsh, and that was just over the fence. So I grew up in a hunting family. My dad and my grandfather actively hunted, and I am a bit of an adult onset hunter. While I went out and sat in a duck blind and sat in a deer blind as a child, I actually never pulled the trigger, and it wasn't until a family health event in 2021 that I decided that I really wanted to get back into this and wanted to go hunting with my dad, not have my dad take me hunting. So I am alumni of the very first class of 2021 of the Women Hunt program, and now serve on the committee as the secretary, and I also sit on the board of directors for the Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta as well.
So what do you do with your spare time? Because I don't think you have any.
Monday to Friday, I'm a banker. I approve farm loans for a financial institution here in Canada. I won't name drop because I actually don't want to name drop right at the moment. We're in the news for not the greatest reasons right at the moment.
Enough said.
Yeah, exactly. Enough said. And then when I, do have 10 minutes of free time, I actually barrel race and rodeo and train horses and own 9 of those suckers as of Saturday. That number went up by 1 after a sale on Saturday, so they keep me busy.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of ponies. Well,
yeah, there's a few irons in the fire.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, awesome. Well, we're glad to have you on tonight. Thanks. And Jana, how about you next?
I'm Jana Waller, now Jana Waller Bear. It's a mouthful, so I usually just go by Jana Waller, but I married love of my life, John Bear, last year and moved to Utah. I think I'm the only one that has moved out of Montana in the last 15 years, but I love Utah and happy to be here with John. And I host a a hunt. I always, when I'm meeting someone new, I always say I host a conservation show. I lead that in with that because it's more soft than saying I host a hunting show. And if we have time, I want to go into the best story I've ever had sitting next to a gentleman on the airplane about what we do for a living. But I host Skullbound TV and Skullbound Chronicles. They're really one and the same thing. I was on Sportsman's Channel for 9 years, Skullbound TV. I then moved over to digital, Carbon TV, because I wanted to be able to reach more people and have it free for everyone and that they could share it and you could rewatch it. And so I moved over to Carbon TV and called it Chronicles, but really it's one and the same. And now I have a fast channel that's just called Skullbound TV. That is all 15 years of all my episodes. That's on 31 networks that just circulates and hopefully just spreading the word. And that is that, you know, we're the greatest animal lovers on the planet. And there is so much adventure, healing, excitement found in the woods and in the mountains through hunting and fishing and trapping. And just want to, you know, highlight, you know, to people what a real hunter looks like, because oftentimes when people didn't grow up in a hunting family, they only know what the mainstream media teaches them. And that couldn't be more farther from the truth. So I'm super excited to be, I am a lifetime member of the Wild Sheep Foundation. I am super excited to partner with Renee and help get the Women Hunt program out there for people to understand what that's all about. And I'm so proud to say I'm on the board of directors for the Ruby Mayflower Blake Legacy Fund, which I'll talk about later. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much. And and I think the one thing that cannot be forgotten is the financial contribution to conservation that hunting provides. It's unbelievable when you think about it, right? And
it is.
Our governments we could get in this rabbit hole and talk about this for 2 hours, but our governments don't seem to care that much, and both north and south of the border. But I mean, it's our money that puts, you know, that keeps these animals on the landscape, and we should be proud of it.
Amen.
So,
yeah,
absolutely. Rachel, your turn. We're letting Julie catch up, but we'll get to her in a minute.
That's all right. We're secretly drooling over her sheep mount in the background there.
I am, for sure. Yeah.
My name is Rachel Ahtila. I started when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I started counting back, and I dare say that's over 2 decades ago, as a friend who got to go up to a hunting camp at a very tender young age. I wanted horses and I wanted to be outside, so it was a perfect opportunity to marry the both of them and get me out of my parents' hair during the summer as a child. And from there, my career skyrocketed. I have had the opportunity to work in all 4 of the quadrants now: Northwest Territories, the Yukon, British Columbia, and just recently Alberta, guiding sheep hunts. That's where I really cut my teeth in the guiding industry. I've got to guide in New Zealand, and through the very authentic path I've trudged for myself, I've had an opportunity to, I guess, come across very authentically. I've been able to partner with a lot of brands. I've always the first person to say no, but let's try this. And I'm very excited that, you know, that served me well so far in my career, and I've been able to give back. And it's led to really cool opportunities at present. This is my 3rd year serving on the board for the Women Hunt program and the Women in Hunting community, which I'll talk about later. And I'm very excited to announce I'm a new ambassador for the Wild Sheep Foundation, which is a huge accolade considering I think 13 years ago I got into my first banquet, and the starstruck awe of going to sheep show and getting to meet like-minded people still resonates. And I think that's a really cool part about this industry is I may not come from a family that's rooted deeply in this industry, but I have become a part of this family. So I'm very honored to kind of get to play a small part in it, and looking forward to the future of hunting and conservation.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And you hit a couple of touch points there that mean a lot to us as well. And that the one for sure that just speaks really loudly is the family aspect of the Wild Sheep Foundation and all the chapters. Blake and I were lucky enough this year. This is where we met Renee and Brandi earlier this year. We were invited to the Chapter and Affiliates Conference in Calgary and did a presentation on Spike Camp and spent 3 days with that core group of leadership from all the chapters. And it was unbelievable. Like it's just, you felt like, we kind of felt a little bit on the outside for about the first 5 minutes, and then we felt like family for the rest of the time, and it's just been that way ever since. And I'm going to be going, I think I'm trying to drag Blake down, but I've got 2 tickets to the Reno show that I picked up at one of the auction items there. So it'll be my first big show down in Reno this year. So I'm looking forward to it. So
You will never forget it.
yeah, it's going to be awesome. Before we get too deep into the content of the show, I just want to talk a little bit about something that we've got cooking here. We have a really exciting giveaway happening to celebrate the launch of the Women Hunt Space on Spike Camp. We're giving away a Kifaru hunting pack system and a Weatherby rifle, courtesy of Women Hunt. Thank you very much. It's a nice way to join the team. We appreciate that. We're kind of just finalized here the details, most of the details on how you can enter to win both of these prizes. For the backpack, you can earn entries into you have to earn entries for the giveaway. So details on how to earn that are posted in the Women Hunt Space. And as a bonus for everybody who's here tonight attending the live stream, everyone on the show tonight gets 10 free entries in for that. In order to win the rifle, we're going to make this a little bit harder. People are going to have to work, but you need to share a woman in hunting story in the new Women Hunt Space. So the directors, the Women Hunt directors, will be the ones that choose the best story, and they will vote on it and award the rifle to the person with the best story. Now, we need to come up with the actual timeline, because we want to stretch this out a little bit, let people get a chance to finish out some of the hunting that they're doing now, because we might have some pretty fresh stories to stick on that platform.
Awesome.
So anyway, yeah, that's how I think we're going to lay it out. Should be exciting. It does generate a lot of engagement when we start giving things away like that. So, Julie, welcome to the platform. Uh-oh, now she froze. Oh, here we go.
Now is it working? All right.
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to keep it exciting.
Well, it's the beauty of live, right? This is what it's all about. So.
That's right. I didn't even say a 4-letter word.
Well, you might have. We would have never known.
Right. Good point.
So, Julie, welcome to Spike Camp. Welcome to the live stream. And if you could maybe give us a little brief intro on yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'm the native Hoosier here from Indiana. And as you can see, my technical skills really suck. So we'll just leave that one there. But I'm honored and proud to be just sitting here with all of these awesome ladies, and of course you two gentlemen as well. But I'm a 3-year member of the Women Hunt Committee, and just completely blessed to be from Indiana and serve on our Wild Sheep Foundation Board of Directors. And when you say family, like Rachel talks about and Chuck, you talk about that, like the moment that I started looking into sheep hunting, family resonated, because unlike any other hunting species around, especially like here in Indiana, everybody's very, man, they're tight fist, right? They don't want to talk about their spots. They don't want to talk about, they're not going to tell you any tips to get a leg up, especially not being a woman. It's like, you're an idiot. We're not even going to talk to you. But when I started talking sheep, everybody, and when I say everybody embraced me, and they could just see how green I was. And then went on my first sheep hunt, and then it was just crazy from there. And then you guys, I hate to tell you, but when you go to that first sheep show, just, it's over. There's just nothing like it. You're going to be enamored. You're going to be exhausted on the way home. You're going to be like, holy cow, I can't, you're not even going to be able to talk. You're going to come home literally with a sore throat. I do every year, because if you're not talking sheep, hunting, just this entire community the entire time, and I mean literally sometimes 24 hours a day, I hate to say that, then you're failing. It's epic failing. So anyway, that's my story. I love hunting. I've grown up in a family. I'm the youngest of 4, and really truly, I'm the only one that is probably I would consider a hunter. My brother dabbled in it for a hot minute, but not maybe not as extreme as I am, I guess. So that's my story. Sticking to it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and let's hope that we've got the technical issues solved.
All right.
Before we jump into it, I want to defer over to Renee. I think you wanted to add something or ask a question regarding the giveaway, right?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys, since you're going with write a story about women and hunting to be eligible for the rifle, just want to check in and make sure it's okay with the two of you gentlemen that we welcome stories from men. It's not about, it doesn't have to be a woman writing the story. It just needs to be a story about women, a woman, young, old, doesn't matter, a female, out hunting or doing something around the hunting landscape, conservation, anything of that nature. Write a great story about a woman you're proud of.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah. As long as it hits that space, it's considered a story. And we will, the space has been up for a short period of time and there's a few stories in there, so they automatically qualify as well.
Right.
The other thing I forgot to mention too is there will be an opportunity to gain entries through some fundraising as well, right, Blake? You were talking about that earlier. So I think we got to kind of finalize the details maybe on that. Or
The details are actually posted right now in the Women Hunt space. I just posted them, so anyone after the show can go check. But I don't know what was said, but basically for the rifle, anyone that submits a woman in hunting story gets a chance at that. And then if you're active in the women hunting space, you earn entries into the Kafara backpack prize. And so there's all the details there.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, cool. And like I said, we'll have the dates and stuff posted in that space as well, and all the final details. But this is like literally fresh from yesterday at 7 p.m. last night. We got it finalized. So
yeah, and actually,
up in time,
Dad, if I could jump in for a quick second. So the other thing I guess I should mention is the donation. So for every $1 US donated to Women Hunt, that's 2 entries into the Kafara backpack giveaway. So there's a link in the post in Women Hunt that takes you directly to the donation page. It's really easy to find on the Women Hunt website, but that's that.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, let's get down to business. Renee, would you please give our audience and all of us here an overview of the Women Hunt program?
Yeah, happy to. Thanks so much. And I just saw a gentleman named Mike that asked a question in the chat, and I just want to say, Mike, you are most welcome. There's lots of guys on this call, and this is for everybody, men and women, no holds barred. Welcome. So yeah, Women Hunt. Women Hunt has been evolving for the last few years. It started out of my experiences as a mid-40s solo adult female trying to figure out how to hunt in Alberta back in the day. And the foundation, we're all really lucky that they recognize the need for developing some sort of program for women, and I'm privileged to have been tapped on the shoulder to build it. And I always say, we hear it over and over again, that it really takes a village to build something. And while it might have been me who started it, I just want to really take a minute just to say, without the committees that build this, different members have come and gone over the years. They're all so valuable. The Wild Sheep Foundation staff are tremendous at supporting our efforts, really tremendous. The staff that work in Bozeman and Cody and other locations across the U.S. The board of directors are supportive. Our chapters and affiliates are champions. And then our sponsors and donors are the ones who make it happen. So you're going to learn as we talk about different things over the course of the night that we are really proud about being self-funded. So while the Wild Sheep Foundation board gives us a small budget, I shouldn't say that, a budget, we make a real effort every year never to expend a dime of it and give it back to the foundation to put into other programs. And the reason why we do that or can do that is because of our generous sponsors and donors. So their contributions can't be understated. Just want to acknowledge that. So a little bit about Women Hunt. you're going to hear different members of the committees here tonight talk about different things that we're doing. We're in a super huge growth mode right now. It's really exciting time. And as we talk through the different things we're doing, the overarching statement that guides everything is that our program is designed to engage, educate, empower, and inspire women to enter the hunting and conservation space. So that's really our mission that overarches everything. And Women Hunt is where we hold our skills-based training, our hunter and rifle training. And we have a strong focus on ethics. We support through mentorship to guide these women when they come through training so they're not left on their own. We instill and promote the pillars of, or the principles of giving back. That's a really strong theme you'll hear about from multiple guests tonight. And we're focused on wildlife conservation. This cannot be understated. The women who come through our program are educated on the 7 pillars of the North American model, and it's something we expect them to carry through on their journey. Briefly, our women in hunting community it's new, it's exciting and vibrant component that Julie and Rachel are going to talk about more a little later. But what's important to know about women in hunting is that it's for people who embrace wildlife conservation and the critical roles that hunters play in it. So you might consider yourself a conservationist and you might not be supportive of hunting. Well, then this is not the community for you. This is a community of conservationists who are supportive of hunting. This is going to be kind of our social relationship part of our program and also our resources. So it's a place where people can come to learn, support each other, have some fun at social events, maybe go on some great hunts together. And then very briefly, Jana will talk about it more in detail later, but the Ruby Mayflower Blake Legacy Fund is a new protected fund of our program, and its purpose and mission is to empower women who are recovering from traumatic experiences by fostering that healing experience that most of us all experience in the outdoors, and helping them to lead strengthened and fulfilled lives. So those are our 3 core pieces of business. I'm really looking forward to exploring this with the ladies and your guests tonight. So that's a basic overview of Women Hunt. And there are some other things, like I mentioned, around giving back and our outreach. That's really important, but we'll get there only if there's some time later.
Sure. Yeah, that's fantastic. And well, thank you for that. What I just want to mention here behind the scenes, and thank you all for doing this. We're getting a lot of questions from our audience, and I see all the ladies on board are jumping in to answer, and please keep doing that. It won't show up on the audio podcast, but this is the beauty of our platform, is people want to know and they want answers, and it's nice to have a whole group of you there. So well, thank you, Renee. That's an awesome overview. And by the way, if there's questions that don't get answered tonight, just drop a question start a little thread or an article in the Women Hunt space on the platform, and there'll be answers coming quickly, I'm sure. So now the ladies that we have here tonight they're all involved in many facets of the program. But as individuals, they're also working on specific projects, I guess committees within Women Hunt, with different scopes and different initiatives. And I'd like to just kind of jump around the horn a little bit and get each of you to talk a little bit about the programs you're involved with within Women Hunt. So I'm going to start with Julie and Rachel. If you two could tell us a little bit about the women in hunting community, and you can leg wrestle over who talks first, or just talk at the same time. It's
I'm getting the fingers ready for Julie here. There we go. But not number one sign neither, just to clarify for the audience. So the really cool part about Women Hunt is that it started with this spiral vision that Renee had with getting women who had bad experiences, or women that had any kind of experience or zero experience, that had a desire to get into the background of hunting, understanding it fundamentally for the provision of food, community, betterment of themselves and lifestyle. And from all of our experiences, there is a greater community with women from all walks of life, all levels, of competency, whether you're hunting by yourselves, you're going on trips together. And we really want to speak to that. We really want to help those women find each other. So that's where Women in Hunting was really born. And I know we have a really exciting inaugural event coming up this year at Sheep Show that I'll speak to a little bit here, and then I'm going to let Julie jump in. But one of the cool parts about the website design that we're going through right now, that's been a huge part of all of our board meetings this summer, is really figuring out what the audience wants, whether that's the women, you know, from all different stages of life here. But my computer's having a short out. Hold on a second. And being able to meet those needs. So one thing that we've decided to do, Sheep Show is an event for everyone. I've been coming to it for 13 or so years now. And one of the things that I absolutely love is the inclusivity. So this year, on Thursday night before the banquet, we are hosting our inaugural Beer and Bubbly event. So we're going to kick it off. Leading up to it, we're going to have a social media campaign invoking sharing of stories. We're going to have some prizes for the women that have entered into it. But to be honest, I mean, I started in the hunting industry because I had a gentleman that had daughters, and he let me burn pancakes over a fire as his wrangler. So, you know, we wanted to include the men, include the women. We're going to have a free event right before the banquet for an hour, Beer and Bubbly. We're going to have some prizes. And the cool part is that the speaker is actually going to jump in with kind of Julie's wheelhouse. And I'm going to let you take over here, Julie. But we're really, with this campaign we're kicking off and quite soon here, is invoking stories. Hunting is around a campfire, you know, when you think about it from a very primal standpoint. We're a sharing of knowledge, we're a sharing of experiences. Sheep Show is like gathering around that campfire. And the cool part is that we're just giving another opportunity geared towards the women or the people that support the women in the industry, no matter where they're at in their level of ability, and being able to give back. So.
Yep. Very well said, Rachel.
Yeah. Awesome. Julie, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. I mean, she hit it right on the head. I mean, sorry, I've got a dog barking. I think that's the camaraderie of everybody in the hunting industry. And especially at Sheep Show, where it just kind of all culminates to like this huge big party is huge. And the stories, again, she just hit it on the head. You're just talking. I think the other thing, as a new hunter, like some of like the Women Hunt program, the other thing is oftentimes whether we're taking out a new hunter or a child or something like that, they may have a good experience, but they may decide that hunting's just not for them anymore. But what have we done? We have taught them maybe respect for the outdoors and respect for the animals. And so now they're going to go back to their community or to a friend and, yeah, I tried hunting, whatever, but at least they're not going to have a negative aspect to it. So the Women in Hunting community for me is huge because, again, it's a place to be able, it's a platform to be able to just talk about your experiences. And let's be honest with let's all be honest here. When we first started, we were not experts. We just had this conversation even this morning, and I just really enjoyed it because it was a story of failure, right? And in those failures breeds success. And so from when I was sitting there listening to the story this morning, I was just like, I had memories just overflowing of all of the times like, man, I wish I would have done that differently. Or I wish I would have played the wind differently. Or I wish I would have, this gun, I remember the first, before I went on a sheep hunt, the gun was like 9 pounds. Okay, not even adding the scope on it. I mean, it's just a huge, heavy gun. There's just so many things you don't understand. And to be able to have other people, experts, or they don't have to be experts, but somebody who maybe has had failures that I could learn from are huge, especially not just sheep hunting, but any kind of hunting, any kind of outdoor activity, right? So I'm really excited about this community that we're developing. I foresee myself being a vital part of it. I'm not going to lie. I'm on YouTubes and the internet all the time. If I'm on the treadmill, I'm watching hunting videos. I mean, it's
Sure.
kind of it might be a sickness. I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe some of you other ladies do that too. I'm just saying, I don't want to be the only weirdo, but I'm really excited and really kind of to tie in this year at the Sheep Show. Danya Vizzi, she is an Olympic shooter. She's a world champion skeet shooter. She's from the great state of Florida. And she is energetic. You guys are going to love her. She's going to be our keynote speaker at the Life Member Breakfast. And also she's going to be at our Beer and Bubbly. Now, Danya was a Juilliard dancer. Like, she was not into shooting at all. And she had to make a decision. I mean, and I'm going to tell you right now, I can't speak to the Juilliard, right? Like, that's not my wheelhouse. I am not a dancer. However, to be at that level she had to make a decision. Am I going to give it up? And am I going to pursue this passion of shooting? And by golly, she gave it up, I believe, at 16. And just obviously she was in the Olympics. So she's got a heck of a story. She's very energetic. She's very well spoken. And she's just now really starting to dabble in the hunting arena. So for us, this is a very cool opportunity. She has hunted before, but not, she's not had a lot of really vast experiences. So we're kind of looking forward to it. We're going to roll out an auction item, and we'll give details on that later, but we're going to be giving away a hunt with Danya. And I'm just looking forward to it because there's another person that is somewhat of a new hunter, super energetic, and she's going to love this platform, right? She's going to love this community. She's going to be, it's going to be a place where we're going to be able to ask questions, get answers. And that is how we become better hunters, that's right, from our failures. So I'm really excited about it. Rachel, did I miss something?
I think you nailed it, Julie. I think the biggest thing is that, hunting is a part of conservation, absolutely, but we want to speak to the people that come on the hunts. They're not necessarily pulling the trigger. We want to be able to appeal to that greater audience of the people who are supporting conservation, but they might not be the one behind the rifle. And I think that's going to be the really cool part that we're excited to start showcasing, is that while we've had tremendous success, every year it has grown better with the Women Hunt program. We pull our hair out because the essays, it's like, how do you choose? And it's a blind audition. It's a testament that there is a need, and we're meeting it, and it's very exciting. So stay tuned.
It's really amazing now, and hats off to all the people that make it happen. It's interesting for me, and I've noticed Blake perk up a couple times here as you folks speak. You're hitting some hot button items for us, which are really that really speak to the ethos behind why we started Spike Camp. Inclusiveness, knowledge, community, sharing, all those things. That's why we started it. We got extremely tired of seeing all the different social media platforms and forums when a new hunter, or could be a female, could be a male, could be a adult onset hunter, ask a question and get absolutely torched by someone who's got an opinion or been around the block or thinks they're the ultimate hunter. And that's the thing, right? If you put your ego aside, and that's what we've done here at Spike Camp, is if you go through the archives, we're only a year and a half old, but you'll see tons of people asking, rookie questions, new questions, no flaming. Like, you've all got the email that we sent out to onboard, and we only have one rule, and that's respect. And we've had yet to have to exercise any, discipline at all. Thank goodness, knock on wood. But we're very excited about the whole program, and thank you for that. So, all right, cool. Well, let's move to Brandi if she's got a voice. I'd like to hear about the Field to Fork program, if you could.
For sure. I think I should be able to make through it for the most part. So the Field to Fork program is kind of the flagship, what we started with program. It is a start to finish how-to course on how to start hunting. I'd say there's women that have come through that have zero rifle experience, zero knowledge. They just are looking for the resources and the experience to gain that skill set and do it in a way that is a positive impact. And we've kind of talked about that a bit, and Julie touched on that. You know, maybe somebody hasn't had a great experience on their first hunt. We're trying to lay the foundation and set up the environment so that the entire experience is a good one from start to finish. The course is held at the FTW Ranch in the hill country of Texas, just outside of San Antonio. The course is delivered by retired Special Forces vets, pretty cool, awesome guys that take you through the paces and are there to instruct and help you learn and help you through what many of us have described as an incredibly empowering, life-changing experience. And it's cool. We have some of the class that hasn't even gone yet on the chat on the live stream tonight. I've been looking at their comments. I got to sit on a Zoom call. Their energy is like so exciting. They head to Texas here in a little less than a month at this point. And then we even have some alumni for my class. I've been scrolling through some of the stalkers, not even the chat participants, and there's some alumni from my class and the other classes as well too. So I think they would all probably echo it. It is the most common feedback, just how truly life-changing this experience is. To kind of run through what the course looks like, it's shot placement, it's field dressing, it's skinning, it's butchering, it's meal prep, it's a run through the model of the North American model of conservation and the 7 principles of that. It is a hunting 101. And I'll never forget, I had small rifle experience. I had no shotgun experience. I am deadly with a 22, but I had never shot anything larger than that. I was super nervous. I will be the first, and I think a lot of us were. There were some women that had shotgun experience but never had rifle experience. There's women that had bow experience that never had rifle experience. There's some women in the class this year that have some bow experience but don't have rifle experience, and it's an intimidating thing. This is what takes life and takes an animal, you know, and ends a life. And so that is a lot of power, and we want to learn it in a way that is, you know, ethical, so that we're making the best shot possible. You know, from a safety standpoint, we're learning how to use our rifles properly, handle our rifles properly, and just generally develop those skills so that when you're on the side of the mountain, you're taking the best shot. Or if you're not comfortable, recognize, and we talked about this, Julie, today on our meeting call, not taking the shot and, you know, positioning yourself better, whether we need to get closer or you need to, you know, account for wind or angle, or just making those calls in the field, in the hunt at that time. And that's kind of what this course entails. We had 200 rounds of ammo that we probably sent through our rifles over 4 days. Wow. Like, my shoulder was sore. I'm not going to say that it wasn't sore, because it was. Sure. But the confidence that these women, and even my own personal experience, have, like, to this day, when I go out now, it's building the tower, it's, you know, controlling your breathing, it's, you know, or it's building the house. It's not building the tower, it's building the house. And controlling your breathing and just, you know, executing each shot, every shot, all the time. You know, we learn through repetition, and just that's what this course is. It just gives people the skills, and women the skills to go out and do this on their own, and in an environment that's, you know, there's no pressure. it's positive, reinforcement. It's positive problem solving. We've had women thought they were left eye or right eye dominant who've turned out to be left eye dominant and learning to adjust that way. It's just those like overcoming those challenges that sometimes, and I'm going to touch on this because I think this is, some of the men on our chat tonight will appreciate this. It's in an environment where there's no relationship pressure. So whether it's a father or a husband or a wife, and trying to like get through in that communication standpoint, and women communicate differently, we learn differently, and we process differently. And so I think that's a huge part of A, this course setting those foundation up, but B, just even in the like greater community, realizing, if I want to get my wife interested in this, like how do I go about it, or how do we do it in a positive way that like continues to encourage and cultivate that interest in hunting, rather than having that pressure and that explosion kind of go the wrong way and lose that disengagement. So that's kind of the course. We're 53 alumni deep at this point. Like I said, the girls are headed to the ranch in a month, and so it'll be super exciting to follow their journey and see how they all go through this. I'm sure they'll say it's life-changing.
Yeah.
Common
it sounds amazing. Yeah, it sounds like an awesome program. And as a father of three, 2 boys and a girl, my youngest is the girl, and I tried to include my kids at an early age in my hunting, and was lucky enough that all 3 of them really loved it. But a couple things, as a father or a parent, when you're teaching your kid, especially by the time you get to the 3rd one, I was guilty of it. It's like, just, point, pull the trigger kind of thing. I didn't elaborate enough. One of the things we found out after a few times out with the rifle was that my daughter was left eye, not right eye, and shoots left. Proud to say now that I think Blake wouldn't argue this either. She's the best shot out of the entire family, and she's a conservation officer in BC today. So we must have done something right. I think all the credit goes to her mom, but at the end of the day, it just makes me feel a little guilty of not, being the proper educator, and to get a third party to teach, new hunters all those skills. I think it's incredibly important. And we're going to talk a little bit about that with Renee a little bit later, but it sounds like an awesome program.
And Chuck, can I just take a second before you jump to
Sure.
the next question? I just want to also add, Brandi really did a great job of describing from the perspective of a participant how transformative the training was, and it really is. But there's 2 other aspects to this core training that we provide and deliver that's outside of what FTW does. And the second part is mentorship, which I briefly mentioned earlier. And one of the things we do is work really closely with the Wild Sheep Foundation chapter and affiliates to find a mentor for the women after they come out of training. Sometimes they already know who they want. Some of the women want their husbands or their dads or whatever to be their mentors, but others don't have anything like that, and so we help with that. So mentorship and our relationships with the chapters and affiliates are key there. And then the third aspect is giving back. And again, we can talk about that in some detail later if there's time, but it's a really, really key part of this program. We make a heavy investment in these women through the generosity of our sponsors and donors. We ask them to have a little bit of skin in the game by getting themselves to San Antonio, but apart from that, it's paid for, and they get some great gear and equipment, and a really amazing head start with their training, their gear and equipment, and that mentorship. So we asked them to give back to the Wild Sheep Foundation, the chapters and affiliates, our Women Hunt program in their local communities. And these women are just going gangbusters. So we're really, really proud of that. And I just wanted to add those 2 things.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for jumping in, and by all means do so when you feel you should, because we've got so much to cover tonight. I don't want it to look like I'm trying to rush through, but we have such a captivating group here and a great topic to discuss. So Jana, I know the topic that you are very focused on is an emotional one that definitely deserves some time. So I'm going to give you the mic now, and you can tell us a little bit about what you're working on with the group.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be on the board of directors for the Ruby Mayflower Blake Legacy Fund. And what that fund is, it's a component of Wild Sheep Foundation. And just like Women Hunt is, right? The umbrella is Wild Sheep Foundation. The mothership is Wild Sheep Foundation. Women Hunt is an awesome program. This is another separate legacy fund that was created by Derek Blake. Derek Blake is a guide in Alaska who tragically lost his wife, Ruby, to, I knew this would happen.
Yeah.
To a tragic accident, May of 2023. And really, I can back up a little bit, and it speaks to what everyone was talking about, the family at Wild Sheep. I have been going to Wild Sheep Show in Reno for, I think, 6 years now. And I just truly can attest to the feeling of family. I had known Derek before Sheep Show, but I got to meet Ruby at Sheep Show. And I can honestly tell you, two of the funniest stories I have are from Ruby at Sheep Show. Not going to talk about on this platform today, but if you ever see me at Sheep Show, stop and I'll explain it to you why I instantly fell in love with Ruby. And Derek wanted to create this legacy fund to do something out of her tragedy. You know, she left behind a beautiful baby girl, Harbor, and you can only imagine the heartbreak Derek has of losing his wife, his partner, his best friend, and then having to raise, an infant baby girl by himself. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing that he wanted to create this legacy fund in order to at least have, Ruby's name stay on the tip of our tongues to help spread her message, which was a message of sort of triumphing over trauma. She was very vocal and outward and open about being a survivor of trauma, of domestic abuse. And one of her saving graces was hunting. It was through Derek, her husband, and through hunting. Derek has the cutest video of Ruby shooting her first caribou, and you can just see her completely in awe, walking up to that animal, and her tears and her excitement. And we all, I think all of us here on this panel agree that how Mother Nature is so healing in and of itself. When we're out in the woods or on the mountains and we're listening to that creek or river flow, and the leaves are rustling in the trees, and we're sitting on the ground, and that's healing in and of itself. And then when you're out there with a purpose, with an intent of hunting and, adventure and camaraderie and campfires and all that tied in, it truly is healing. I do a lot of veteran hunts, and I can't even explain it to you how incredibly healing sharing the mountains with a combat veteran is, who can share his stories back and forth to me and build a community. These are men and women who are getting out of the armed forces, often feeling very alone because someone's been telling them what to do. They've got such a huge sense of family. When they get into hunting, that creates another family for them. I want to read the mission statement because I think it's really powerful, and we spent a lot of time on it. But the mission statement of the Ruby Mayflower Blake Legacy Fund is to empower women recovering from traumatic experiences by fostering healing through the transformative power of nature. Our goal is to help them rediscover their inner strength and lead fulfilling, empowered lives. And I'm really excited to say that we have our first recipient on a hunt right now. Actually, she's ending it, flying home today. She's on a hunt in Texas. She's there with our board member, Julie McQueen. She's there with my cameraman and producer, Heath Helgert. And it took a lot to get her on this hunt. The beautiful thing is she's with her 8-year-old daughter on this hunt. And they are sharing. I can't even wait to share with what has gone down in the last 2 days in Texas. Not only an amazing hunt for Gina, the recipient, but her daughter got to hunt her very first animal, and that wasn't even included in it. And just the power of what I've seen go down through my texts in the last couple of days is just amazing. And so that's just the start of it. And we're really, really excited about it. I'm so excited to be able to work with Wild Sheep and work with Women Hunt and be on this board of, I call it the Ruby Legacy Fund. It's quicker to say that way, but I'm really proud to be on it and to serve and make our family even bigger, because all of us here know the power that comes with, you know, being individuals in the hunting community and already knowing that we're family. But I'm really excited to wrap other people in through Women Hunt and through the Legacy Fund and show them truly how transforming hunting really is.
Well, thank you very much. I know it's an emotional story, and I've talked to Renee about it a few times, and you know, just kudos to everybody involved in you know, putting this thing together. And I think it's safe to say that this contest that we're running should see some benefit flowing towards the Legacy Fund as well. We're going to try and see if we can raise some money as a group and push some funds toward it. But thank you very much. That's very honorable work that you're doing there. While we've got you on the mic unmuted, you touched on something that I'd kind of like to chat about a little bit. In your case, you know, as a TV show creator in the hunting space, there's a lot of pressure for success. I've got a friend who has a television show here, Joe Appel, and he says the same thing. There's a lot of pressure. And Ashley Stuckless, High BC, another TV personality from Canada, these guys talk about it. It's like, you know, the networks want to see success, but at the same time, you know, you don't always have success, but you still have amazing adventures. And I find it personally challenging when I'm talking to non-hunters. I won't say anti-hunters, but people that just don't understand. And they say, so how was your trip? Well, it was good. We didn't shoot anything, but, you know, typical answer. We had a great time, saw some amazing country. You know, you had to be there to experience it. And I think it's important that people realize and can communicate about, you know, the things outside of the success of, you know, punching a tag. For you personally, what are some of your favorite hunts that don't involve notching a tag? I'm kind of leading the conversation back to your comment you made about the veterans, but I'd like to hear about it.
I just got off 2 veteran hunts. Last week was a rifle elk hunt with Folds of Honor. But the week before that, I was guiding a hunter, Rob Gutierrez. He's a combat controller, Special Forces, Air Force, and it was an archery elk hunt. He never even drew his bow back. And I'm going to do a full episode about it because we had so much fun. I really want to share his story. That's priority. But then, I mean, this is so funny. So he's from Texas, and he calls me a couple of weeks before the hunt. He's going through his pack list. He's like, I got my bear spray already. And, you know, I'm kind of a bear freak. And I'm like, you don't need it. I said, I mean, you can bring it if you want, but there'll be 5 of us in the woods together, because there's Heath, the cameraman, me, Rob, John, my husband, was second camera, and Rob, and Rick Miner. It's a big group of us. So I'm like, it's lots of it. You really don't have to worry. You know, I've been there 7 times before. I've never seen a bear, blah, 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 blah. We had a 25-yard bear encounter the first day. So,
of course, you did.
It was awesome. We're all like sitting on a wallow, and I'm about 10 yards back with John. Heath, the cameraman, and Goot are in sort of a little makeshift ground blind, and Rick's calling, so he's back in the woods. And I see this like figure coming through the woods, coming towards the wallow, and I'm like, bear. And that's my last name. And Rob turns around. He thought I was yelling at John, my husband. I'm like, bear. And this bear walks in, gets a drink from the wallows, coming towards us, and it's a big bear. And it got to 25 yards and stuck its nose in the air and ended up walking off. But it was so great. It was like just so funny. Of course, I tell him not to bring his bear spray, and we see a bear. You know, those are the things that happen. But I really do. I show tons of episodes where we're not successful. We don't notch a tag. I've showed misses before. One thing I do think it's important, I saw earlier in the comments about someone being a little nervous about going to Women Hunt. Let me just say, don't be nervous. It's easy to say don't be nervous, but like I've been a big game hunter for over 30 years, and I still get nervous. We all get nervous, and I still screw up all the time. Like making wrong moves, pushing a stalk, the wind swirls, misjudging distance. It happens all the time to the absolute best of us. And I think women who are new to hunting have almost sometimes an unrealistic expectation of having to be perfect. And they don't. Oh, I'm jealous of your dog, Rachel. Squirrel. But you don't have to be perfect. You really don't. Like there's the best thing you can do is become proficient with your weaponry, whatever that is. I hunt with a bow, rifle, muzzleloader, pistol. And that's the most important key is safety and proficiency. But then other things are going to go wrong. And it's not that I've become so good at what I do. I've become so good at just accepting what happens. It's definitely
exactly.
part of it. And to take the pressure off yourself and listen to your mentors and who you're with, but don't be afraid to mess up because it happens to all of us. But no, I love what you had to say about, it's not about a notch tag. Often it's not. And I've shared the mountains with some of the most incredible combat veterans who've literally changed the history of our country. And I've got to share the mountains with them and hear their stories. And all that does to me is create more patriotism in me and spark more passion for protecting what I love. And that's hunting and guns and archery and trapping. And I feel like the more I can share their stories, that's what that does is reverberate and just echo and vibrate this love of our country and our lifestyle all the more. And it's just a total blessing to be able to have that platform. But I don't be nervous. We all make mistakes. Jump into the arena. It reminds me of that Theodore Roosevelt quote, get off the bleachers and get into the arena. If you are out there listening to this and you're thinking about hunting, but you don't know where to start, go to the Wild Sheep Foundation. And then from there, branch off to Women Hunt, the Women in Hunting community, the Legacy Fund. There's so many people throughout the community of wild sheep that are willing to share, willing to help with comments, willing to guide. Rachel is an amazing, if I have done very few hunts on horseback, only a couple, and they freak me out. Rachel is a skilled horse person. Anyone has horse questions, there's Rachel. Anyone has, conservation questions, there's Renee. We all have something we're kind of like good. There is this entire whole family that can get you answers. And it's just a really good start to go to the Sheep Foundation's page, because this community will welcome you. I guarantee it.
Well said. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of horse ladies, I'd like to chat with one of the horse ladies on the call here for a minute. Brandi. Now, I didn't know you until we met in Alberta a few months ago, and the first thing that Blake and I noticed after watching you in action at the conference was like, this lady does not stop moving. She is ultra busy. She's a taskmaster. You work full time, giving out money apparently to farmers. So congratulations. I grew up in the prairie, so I can appreciate that. You are a barrel racer. You're a horse mom of now 9. You serve on the Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta board, the Women Hunt Committee, and you have time to get everything done. And you make time, especially for hunting and conservation. I raised my hat, but I got a headset on, so it'll knock it off. But my question for you is, what drives you to get all this done? Where's the passion come from? And you put yourself through a lot. I'd like to hear why and what drives you.
For sure. So I felt like I was missing something. I grew up in 4-H, so another prairie initiative where, community, one of the 4C or Head Heart Health hands for my club, my community, my country, managed to, that 4-H motto is definitely ingrained in my head. But part of that is the community. And so I actually got burnt out. For 11 years, I gave my time to like rodeo and barrel racing associations, sat on various boards through that. Another unknown secret is I actually grew up showing purebred cattle. So I was in, the different organizations associated with that. I was burnt out. I didn't feel like what I was giving was being appreciated, and I actually quit. For 5 years. I actually stepped back from volunteer work altogether. And not that I wanted to or anything. I just didn't feel, it didn't light my soul or anything on fire anymore. But what has been amazing has been what conservation and this wildlife community and this wild sheep community has like lit that 100% again for me personally. I love, no different than anybody else on this conversation, I love the atmosphere and the family of the sheep show. It is it's like nothing else. You know, Julie talked about it being 24 hours. It happens. And while we all leave Reno with no voice, I think every one of us, our cup is full. Whether, you know, you might be physically exhausted or maybe even come home with COVID the first year. But
well, that'll happen.
that happens. But the reality is it's extremely energizing, and I love the passion behind everyone. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking to, you know, our amazing financial supporters or somebody who just wants to volunteer their time, and whether it's I am going to maybe speak to my Alberta, you know, whether it's sitting in the lab while we're doing a collaring project, or, and I can even attest to the BC guys too, whether it's sitting on the side of a mountain and counting sheep or goats in one of those volunteer initiatives, it fills my cup. I felt like I was missing a table. There was a great quote that surfaced across my path this week, and it was like along the lines of you finding a seat at a table that you don't even know exists yet. And it's very true. My mom and dad have been to Reno 3 or 4 times as well. They came the first year, and I'll toot my Alberta board with me. My mom said to our president, Mike Smith, Brandi's really embraced this, and he's like, yeah, she's found a home. And I think that's huge. And so I think there's women, I say this to myself, I don't have kids, I don't have hockey to go to, I don't have soccer, I don't have things to like run around and cater to, which is totally fine. It's not, but it's still that sense of community and belonging. And that's the great thing about the Wild Sheep Foundation and this family that is our chapter and affiliate network and the all-encompassing umbrella. There's a seat at this table for everybody.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well said. Gosh, we're just getting all these great quotes tonight, aren't we, ladies? This is awesome. Thank you so much. I have a question here. Rachel, did your dog just walk from your living room into Julie's living room a couple minutes ago?
She was feeling left out. She goes everywhere, and she decided to make an appearance here. So sorry.
Yeah, that's awesome. No problem. I sent an email out to the group today saying, you know, don't worry if we have pets. You know, this seems to happen. We've had some crazy things happen on the live streams before. So, anyway, yeah. Oh, look at that puppy. Well, that's part of your family. Julie, I'd like to. Speaking of family, I'd like to find out from you your perspective on what hunting means for you and your family, and you know why it's important to you, and what your role as a mother plays in that, or what you feel a mother's role plays in hunting.
Absolutely, that's probably the easiest thing I'll say. I've been blessed to have 2 awesome parents that no matter what, irregardless of whether I was, you know, female, you go out and do whatever you want to do. And my husband and I both hunt. He doesn't, he likes to just deer hunt, and that's in his wheelhouse. But for us, we have taken, I think, my son, I think he started at 7, and I think my daughter started at 7 or 8 as well. Indiana does a really good job of including youth, and before the general season opens, the weekend before is our Indiana youth season. So they do a really good job here. But for us, and you guys all know this, whether you're parents or you're not, but just the madhouse of today's society, right? Like everybody's connected on these smartphones everywhere we go. We can be reached, and anymore kids are like this at a dinner table. I was at dinner the other day, and both of my kids, I'm like, hello, like
Anybody
they're
home?
yeah, they're just texting. I'm like, put them down. So for us, when we're out, and Jana was talking about that nature healing, okay, that all of those things, if anyone's ever been in something so simple as the turkey woods, when God literally takes and flips the switch, okay, and daylight is breaking and the birds just start chirping and the turkeys gobble, both of my kids have got to experience that. I want every child to that's what I want them to focus on, not, oh, I got this new app on my phone or a game.
Mhm.
So for me, family and the outdoors is it's the pinnacle, right? Because you are connected. You are right there experiencing that hunt, that success or that failure with your child. There are so many life lessons that can be taken from conservation and hunting that are just invaluable. And for us, I can tell you stories after story. Probably one of the best ones was just this last December. Things kind of hit home when you lose a parent, and I had the blessing of working hand in hand with both my parents for years. They followed me, they encouraged me. I played college basketball, and they would fly to games just to come and support, right? I mean, that's what, and so now that's what I do as a parent, right? You're trying to absorb every ounce that you can into your kids, because if we all look at things, what do we have, right? We've got memories. Sometimes we get taxidermy, but more importantly, we've got those experiences, those shared experiences, and to be able to do that with my children are leaps and bounds above anything else. They're leaps and bounds above taxidermy, right? And this last December, I lost my mom in February of 23, and it was life altering, right? Just disgusting, life altering. Just not. I wasn't prepared for this, and it made me appreciate my kids even more, and it made me appreciate the time I have with my children and my family even more. And so I'm at La Pomosa. I'm on a sheep hunt, and we're grinding it up and down this little mountain, and we're sitting up on this sheep, and my son is sitting literally behind me. I can feel his breath on me. It's driving me insane, but he's breathing heavy behind me. And anyway, Emilio's talking, and we're watching the sheep, come up, and I shoot this sheep, and yeah, the sheep went down. That was great. But the best part of it was, the excitement. Oh my God, Mom, you did it. Like, yeah. It wasn't my first sheep, but just to have him there with me, and that I can't explain it. If you've ever taken a child or a kid hunting, like, he was genuinely so excited for me that I forgot about the sheep. I turned around and hugged him, and we had that moment, and he was like, let's go. What are we waiting on? Let's get down there, and he's 17 years old, but the excitement. So to be able to share those kind of experiences with your family is way more than buying a brand new car or building a brand new house or something like that. These are the life altering memories that you're going to have forever. And that's what I want to say to people that can take somebody out hunting, take a child out hunting. Man, I'm just telling you, it is one of the most rewarding aspects of guiding. Rachel, I don't know how you do that all the time, because my heart would jump out of my chest. I just took my son's girlfriend for the first time, and I still get excited, right? Like, on any hunt, something has to be wrong with me. I don't know what it is, but that memory, and after she shot it, I mean, we're all in the blind hunting, like, tears coming down, like, you did it. And that's the memory that I'll have forever. And it's not only with your own kids, but when you take somebody else. To me, you know, those are the things that are just the upper echelon. That's what I live for, is those memories.
Oh man, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'm blessed that all three of my kids have been hunters, and I just get so much enjoyment out of hunting with them. People ask me all the time, especially since we started the platform, one of the common questions is, how do you find a hunting partner? And my joking answer is, well, the easiest way is to create one.
That's
Literally.
exactly right.
Right? Like literally, because my best hunting partners are my kids. Except for sharing a tent with Blake after 8 days without changing socks. This rotten fermenting fruit smell that fills the tent. I can't explain that. That's the one thing I would excuse. Sorry, buddy, threw you under the bus there. But I think I would venture to guess that when you mentioned Rachel and I don't know how she does it, I'll bet you that's one of the reasons that she does it, is that elation that comes from the success and taking someone on their first experience like that, right?
And Chuck, sure. I just have to ask a question of your three kids. When you took them out, I just have to know, were they uber competitive with one another, or is it not? Is my family just weird because they are like very competitive? Well,
my kids are definitely competitive. My daughter is the feistiest of the three for sure. We've been, ironically, for the four of us to get together hunting is always complicated to try to line up schedules. So more often than not, I don't think I've ever really had all of them on the same hunt, maybe more than a couple of times. And it's kind of the opposite. It's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn. But we did have a triple header one time between Stephanie and Blake and I, all on the same day, mule deer hunting, and that was a fun day. And there was no competition. We've been deer hunting for 3 or 4 days. It was a draw tag for the kids and over the counter for me. And we were whipped with a windstorm for 3 days. And you know what it's like when the wind finally dies, animals start moving, and that's what happened. But yeah, they're competitive in a lot of ways, but that one, they seem to get along pretty good. But yeah, that can always change, I guess. But anyway, Rachel, I have a couple questions for you. You've been in the hunting space pretty much your entire life, and a guide for most of it. And I know a few guides in the industry too, and I like to ask them this same question. Every once in a while, you get an opportunity to switch roles from guide to hunter. I saw a film a couple of years ago that you created on a sheep hunt, and it was gut-wrenching. It was wonderful. It was very well done. Did see some tears shed in that one, and congratulations on that hunt. I know you did a hunt. I think you did a hunt recently for a girlfriend of yours as well. You guys went on a team hunt, right?
Yeah, it was for my stone sheep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. And what was that like for you as far as the experience goes? And did the prep and planning change at all for you on that trip?
No, for sure. I think that the biggest thing that you have to look at when you're sheep hunting is we are not a truck drive away. You are getting dropped off in a location. You had best have all of your wits together. And if you don't have your wits together, you better make sure you go with someone that could at least counterbalance you, because you're going to inevitably encounter something that makes you uncomfortable or your hunting partner uncomfortable. And I mean, to speak to the hunt that I did, Sika, very graciously, they actually told the story of my dad and I back in 2017. I come from a divorced family, and that was a hugely emotional moment for my dad and I. I tried to give him the tag. I tried to give him the doll sheep tag for that, and he said he would have more enjoyment if I shot it because I knew what it meant, and it would mean more for him to be there with me. So that set up to an amazing opportunity for the two of us to get time together. And then it was actually that year in 2017, I had some life changes, and I actually met my now hunting partner, who's one of my best girlfriends, who came with me on that stone sheep hunt. And so over the last 6-7 years, we kind of been joking, oh, well, we're going to go do a girls trip because the boys are always doing a trip. Well, last year, last minute after I dropped my partner off to go to the mountains, I literally was joking. I was like, oh, well, I won't be home long. I'll get a call. Well, I'll be damned. I did. I got to go to the NWT and go and guide up there, which was really hard because I had also anticipated going on a stone sheep hunt. And my hunting partner, Kayla, had 10 days. And here I was taking off to the wilds of the NWT on an in-reach. And she's a planner. She's a very type A planner. So one thing I've learned when you go to the mountains is you want someone like that. She makes spreadsheets. I'm not quite at the spreadsheet time. I think I've got it half memorized where, I know what I need. I know what it should look like. And I know how heavy my bag should be. So that's one thing I really appreciate. When I'm planning, and especially on a backcountry trip. She and I have taken our horses and we drug our buddy Adam Foss up to the wilds of the northern BC area and did a boondoggle chasing moose with a couple of horses, and I think he got to be a mule skinner for a while. But when you go into the backcountry in BC, it's not, and same as the NWT, same as the Yukon, it is remote. And trying to explain that to a lot of people, there's a lot of apps that put a lot of information in front of people's face nowadays, but I'm a firm believer you have to do the hard work to get there. I changed my mind last minute, and my hunting partner was like, okay, let's go on a good hunt. We went prepared. I think the big thing when you're choosing a hunting partner to go on remote hunts is you have to have someone who's adaptable and someone that goes prepared for anything. We joke that, what was that show? With Harrison Ford, and she's standing there on the beach and she goes, I could send you into the wilderness with a pocket knife and a Q-tip and you'd build a shopping mall. 6 days, 7 nights. Anyways, that's kind of the person you want to go with, because I'll tell you what, I threw a dart at the map and last minute on the tarmac, I changed my mind and we flew into a different location and barely were downloading maps. We had no intel. And I was super thankful to have someone who's super bush savvy. She leads backcountry trips for first time, women adventurous, as well with another friend of ours. And we threw caution to the wind and just went for it. And, sometimes that really repays you. We got lucky. I found a ram the first night, and then we spent 3 days of hell going through some of the toughest terrain on a hope and a whim that this ram was legally looked good enough from kilometers away. But the thing is, no matter man, woman, or child, you want to have someone that can mirror your strengths and really show up for you. Because on that hunt, I've guided a long time. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. And after we had killed the ram, we decided to go up a particular gorge that we decided that we weren't going to go down. But from the ground, it looked half decent going up. And it doesn't matter if you're 2 guys hunting or 2 girls hunting. My partner, when we were going up the hill, she froze. And my dog was coming back down on me, and there was gravel sliding. And if we took one wrong step, we were going to go cascading to the bottom. And I can still remember in that sense where I had to go from guide to hunter and go back again because I could see someone was in trouble and I knew I was safe enough, and I had to go up the mountain and disperse my pack, tie it to a willow so it wouldn't roll back down because we're heavy with sheep, go back down, take her pack and help her get up. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't 2 days later, we had a hard water crossing, and I don't like crossing water where I can't see the bottom. And she got to recognize the exact same insecurity in me that I seen with her on the mountain. And she's completely proficient. I'm completely proficient. But when you are so strenuously pounding, the trail day after day, you're fatigued. Mentally, you're strong, but you're trying to keep up to playing all these scenarios out in your head for the best case scenario. My hunting partner, she saved me that day because she knew when she tried to cross this high water. I mean, I had my dog with me in my dog pack, and she looked back and she seen the fear on my face. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter who you're going hunting with. You need people to be able to resonate with you and understand. I might not have said I'm scared to cross that, but she could see it on my face. And I think, when you plan for trips like that, I think that's the coolest part about building a community, for anyone, is being able to build those partnerships where you can trust each other. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I can see Ellie, she's in the group chat here, and she came hunting with us this spring. We did a women's bear camp up north. And it was really cool because one of my other really good girlfriends was guiding there. She's been an outfitter and a hunting guide for a lot of her life, as same as the outfitter that was there. And I've known her through social media.
Mhm.
And it was really neat that Ellie trusted to come all the way up from out east, all the way to northern Canada, to come on a girls' hunt and stalk bears, a carnivore, you know. And I think
Yeah.
that's the cool part about this, is that you can build those relationships because you have to be vulnerable, but you also have to learn to communicate. And I think that's the cool part about hunting, is that you can have your app, you can sit here with your phone and look at, you know, the topography, but at the end of the day, it's your 2 feet and hands that are going to get you there. And it's your
Yeah.
hunting partner to get home safe with. So
Exactly. No, you know, you struck a couple notes there for us. I mean, Blake and I are very different people when we're on a you know, the sheep hunting journey together. And what we have found and developed over, I don't know how many years now, 6 or 7, I guess, of us hunting together for sheep, we have strengths on both sides, weaknesses on both sides. And it seems on almost every hunt, if you're in the backcountry for more than, say, 7 days, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have that breaking point moment at some time, right? Whether it's the creek crossing where, okay, I can't see the bottom, and all of a sudden you step up and the water's to your chin, where you get cliffed out, or you get poked in the eye by a sharp stick when you're bushwhacking, right? I mean, all of those things. We've had those breaking points, but at the end of the day, it meshes, right? If you've got the right hunting partners. My question on that, I could talk about this for hours, but the question is, so you talk about your hunt with your friends, your friend and your dad and stuff. You did both of those hunts. How do you develop that relationship quickly with a client on the mountain? Because you're going in the same, you know, criteria. Basically, you're bushwhacking, you're climbing mountains, creeks, crossing, all that stuff. That must be a challenge.
you get really good at reading people. I think that's
Fast.
one thing I learned. I had the opportunity to mentor under John DeVries. He's a legendary sheep hunter in my eyes up in northern BC. And I remember my Uncle Darwin sitting me down one time and saying, "Watch John. We're in
Wow.
customer service." And I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, you're hunting partners for the week or the 14 days. But the cool part is you're also friends for that time. I mean, you get to know each other very intimately in like a non-intimate sentiment, but it's intimately because you get to see this person's, you know, rise and fall of their characters. You know, you get to learn each other and you get to understand why they're there. And I think, you know, as you get to know each other, I kind of have the questions that I ask to kind of feel them out. You know, how experienced are you? You know, your kind of your circular conversation bits that preemptively in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, this person's, you know, killed sheep all over the world. They can handle X amount of this. Okay, they're new to this. Maybe camping them on the side of the mountain under a sill tarp in a snowstorm might be a little bit traumatic for this individual.
Not so much. Yeah.
Right? But I think that's the cool part about, you know, getting to guide that keeps me coming back. It's been the love of my professional career, is everyone's there for a reason. I have the coolest job in the world because people pay to come hunt with me. So I get to go hunting.
Very cool.
I get paid to go hunting. You know, you always have your personalities that don't necessarily jive, but at the end of the day, they're there for a reason. And when you can really harbor that reason that they're there, and you can make that dream, you know, do everything in your power to try and make that dream a reality, that's the gift that I get. And so when you're learning their physical abilities, you learn where you can and can't push them. And I'll tell you what, I've killed sheep with 70-plus-year-old clients. And we went slow and steady and killed one of the bigger rams of the season in the NWT. I've had young guns, I won't name names, that we put our packs on and they went walking past, and I sat down and I looked at sheep and I kind of pointed like this. And then they came back and realized, oh, it's not a race. So, you know, it's...
Yeah, there you go.
It's learning how to communicate, and just in a way that resonates on everyone's individual level.
Well, that's awesome. Boy, I wish we had 4 hours tonight, ladies, because I could just talk forever about this stuff. But unfortunately, we don't. We do have a time limit, so we gotta get to a few things. Thank you all so much for that. All the wonderful insight. Renee, let's talk a little bit about training and how training can affect and compress the learning curve. As an adult onset hunter, you experience this. I'd like to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, it's true. I've been thinking about that a lot lately as I reflect the last 7 years of my life and my trajectory learning to hunt, starting at such a late stage. And it's true. I've really come to realize that training can really compress your learning curve. And so when you, like me, came into it at 45 years old or 46, whatever I was at the time, I recognized that I needed to learn to shoot well quickly. And I didn't have a lifetime or the majority of my life to learn to do that. And I chose to make certain investments in my training to escalate shorten my learning curve. And I think what's really exciting for me when I think about the last 7 years is that even in that short time frame, the landscape has changed really drastically as far as accessibility and the ability to find really great resources online. And I really, when I reflect back to 2016 and 17, it did not feel like it does today. And I think that's a good reflection that I've had, and a good message to share with somebody who's either coming in late or maybe just hasn't had, even if they've been hunting a while, maybe they don't feel confident in their skills or they'd like to improve their skills. That there's so much out there now that you can make a personal investment in to rapidly escalate your learning and improve your skill set. And whether it's hunting courses like we're offering, and there's so many out there. There's so many great organizations out there that are doing great skills training, right? We all know them, and there's a wealth of options out there. Organizations, nonprofits, private businesses, etc. But whether you're looking at escalating your rifle training like I did, which I love to share this story, that choice I made back in 2018 to go to my first sheep show on my own. I didn't know a single person. I bought a full registration package, the cheapest hotel room at the Pepper Mill. I bought my flight on Air Miles, and I flew down. I didn't know anybody, and I made some of the best friends I have today. And through that, one of those guys was at our wedding, and he walked me over to an outfitter from Spain. And I was pretty honest with him. I was like, I'm not ready to hunt Spain. I've had one hunt under my belt, right? But I said, what I need to do is learn to shoot. And that outfitter walked me over to the FTW Ranches booth. And I'm just sharing this because I love this story. I had to make some choices. I had to sell my RV in order to afford that course and my first firearm, my first of my own with, a ballistic turret scope. But I went down to that ranch. It changed my life. And then amazingly, the owner is largely responsible for introducing me to my husband. And so the trajectory of my entire life changed because I made the decision to go to the sheep show. I mean, crazy. Well, maybe it changed because I made the decision to learn to hunt. I don't know. But I'm just sharing a little offshoot there because I like telling that story. But sometimes it can feel really overwhelming, whether you're some middle-aged woman in Calgary, in a corporate job who was miserable, or whether you're, whoever you are, whatever your demographic is. It sometimes can feel really overwhelming when you think about the scope of what you're trying to undertake. And I'm just here to say that, a way to move past that is to just make that investment in your trainings to compress your learning curve.
Awesome. Yeah, well said. Sorry about the RV, though. I bet you missed that. Eh?
I have a new one now. It's all right.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's awesome. Well, ladies, we are cruising through time like crazy, as I knew we would. One of the things I'd like to do, while we still have a few moments here, I like to do something I call kind of a rapid fire. Usually when there's one or two guests, I'll rapid fire a bunch of questions. But tonight, I'm just going to ask one question each to all of you. Well, Julie didn't want to answer. It looks like she took off again. So we're going to start with Jana. What is your favorite big game meal / dish? What's your go-to?
Well, this one is so easy because this is truly my go-to. I make it all the time. I've made it with mountain goat. I've made it with bear, whatever. It is Mississippi pot roast. It is the easiest thing on the planet. You get out your crock pot, you put your roast in it, you put a stick of butter, a packet of ranch seasoning, a packet of au jus, and some peppercini peppers. That's it. If it's frozen, don't add any water. If it's not frozen, add a quarter cup of water. You don't touch it for 8 hours. It is so good. Even my snotty husband who hates bear, he just the thought of it, he just can't wrap his brain around bear or mountain lion. And I eat bear all the time. He even loved my bear recipe that was made that way. It's called Mississippi pot roast if you Google it, but it is truly as simple as I just said, and it's delicious with anything. We just did it with antelope, and antelope can be a little dry. There's not a lot of fat there. It was even good with antelope. It's just the easiest recipe on the planet.
Now, do you tell John if it's bear roast or not, or do you just say it's Mississippi?
Well, I did tell him that first time, but I'm not going to tell him from here on out because he loved it, and I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I'm not going to tell him from here on out.
Yeah, my wife was always really good at the bait and switch on the meals with our kids. We have one very picky kid, happens to be sitting here with a Spike Camp hat on, and he, a lot of times he thought he was eating something, he was eating something else. But yeah, so. Julie, are you with us? I think you are. I have a question for you on our little hot seat question panel here. What is your favorite piece of gear? Okay, if she can answer, I don't know if she can. She's got technical.
You could type her response.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Then we could read it out. So Blake, you take care of that one. You can talk to Julie about that. I'm going to jump over to Brandi. This is a good question I love to ask people. Okay, so here's the stage. Money is no object. What is your all-time dream hunt? Anywhere in the world.
I'm taking it. Stone sheep every day of the week. Yeah, and Rachel's coming with me, and then Jana's going to come too and film it, and we're going to bring Julie because you need that kind of hype with you that Julie brings. So, and Renee, but I need to get a horse for Renee because Renee and I have both said that we're not hunting sheep unless we're doing it on a horse. Yeah. So, a stone sheep. I'm super fortunate. I'm headed to Africa in the spring, so I can't necessarily say Africa. My mom and dad have hunted red stag in New Zealand, and they're very majestic animals too, but I'm gonna take the most expensive sheep you can get and go from there.
Yeah, I think it's
$96 tag really hurts here as a BC resident.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. The wound there.
Yeah, well, I'll take my over-the-counter bighorn too. And
yeah,
pretty good.
Anyway.
Oh man. Yeah, it's funny. People ask me, again, the non-hunters, they're like, what's the thing with sheep? And then all you have to do is say, if you've got 6 figures, you can come, 6-figure bank account, and you want to spend that, you can come on a sheep hunt, and I'll pay my $100 and some fuel in my diesel truck and some boot leather. It's insane when you think about it, but
then you think of our government, and it's like, we pay for it. Not going political. Here we are.
Nope. That's another podcast, Rachel. We'll have to get you back for that one. We got some firearm rights to talk about at some point. We're gonna get into that one of these nights. So, is Julie able to answer a question, Blake? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
She's losing. She must have.
I think the connection's just a little spotty right now. I can try and put it in the chat here. Just give me a sec.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to ask Rachel. And this one, I'm kind of selfish in this one because this is a question I love to ask sheep hunters. What piece of advice can you offer someone new to sheep hunting?
That is a loaded question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good question. So, someone that's new to sheep hunting, you can have all the best gear. You can have the best flight in. the sheep will be where you will find them.
Mhm.
Me personally, I mean, on my personal sheep hunt, I did a couple half-ass efforts, coming out of the mountains, having a few days here and there, and I didn't tag out until I had committed and gone in to where I needed to go. But don't give up. Sheep hunting is the pinnacle because you're going to push your physical capabilities, your mental capabilities. You are going to push your gear. So I'm also going to preface that with don't cheap out on gear, because I'll tell you what, there is no such thing as bad weather. There is just bad gear. I will say that. And I'll tell you what, sitting on the side of a mountain, if you can go as prepared as you can, put in your time. You might not see a legal ram. You might go 14 days. There's more prestige on passing on a barely legal sheep and going in and having good karma for the next year. So for the new sheep hunters in the crowd, Wild Sheep Foundation has made it wildly successful and very bougie to be a sheep hunter.
Yeah.
With that comes an awesome responsibility. And with that responsibility, do your homework, go prepared, go safe, go with the best mental capability that you can and a good hunting partner. And at the end of the day, you're going to have some epic photos and a good trip. And hopefully one day you'll drag out on the ram of your dreams.
Thank you. Now, coming from a sheep hunter I've yet to notch my stone sheep tag, but I have passed on a few rams that were legal because they weren't the right one. And I have helped a friend get his ram. So maybe one of these days that karma is going to flip to me, right? Is that what I have to keep hoping for?
No, that's good karma. What's funny is, I mean, it was years between my sheep. I got to guide a ton between there. But I actually was sitting on the mountain, and I believe in good juju. And I was sitting there with a client in the NWT, and my client Mike looked at me and he goes, "Well, what would you like in a ram?" And I said, if dreams are free, Mike, my doll sheep's broomed on one side, tipped on the other. If dreams are really free, I'd have the opposite. Well, I'll be damned if I didn't get to hunt a ram for myself, and he's broomed on the opposite side, tipped on the other. So I'm a big believer that you put in your time and you put in your good energy and you're an ethical hunter, and it will pay off for you.
Awesome. Cool. All right. I'm going to take the question I was going to ask Julie because she's having some tech difficulties. I'm just going to quickly ask.
We've got an answer from Julie. I was just texting her. It's a good one.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So your question was, what is your favorite piece of gear? So I texted Julie that, and I get back my gun.
It's also my favorite one.
Which I thought was great. And then she replies back and says it's a Kimber 300 Win Mag.
Oh, she's a Kimber. Oh yeah, controlled round feed. I love it.
Yeah.
She's a sucker for punishment, that woman.
Yeah, 300 Win Mag on a Kimber. It's probably like an Ascent or something that weighs less than 6 pounds too. It beats the brains out of her, but obviously it works. Look at the sheep in her room. My goodness. All right. One person left. I have a very, very important question. Renee, I would like to ask you, what message would you like to send to the hunting community?
Well, okay. I would say first and foremost that my actions, and in fact, all of our actions define who we are, right? And so it's, what we do is representative of our entire community. Every time we're out there, every time we're hosting something, every time we're engaging, every one of us, our actions are representative of our community. And so we're a minority. And I think it's important that we're always thinking about how we act and how that looks to that non-hunting majority. And does that mean we have to apologize? No. But it does mean that we need to be respectful. And the great thing about that too is that the more respectful we are, the more we can demand that they are respectful towards us. So I guess my message is to just be conscientious at all times about your behaviors and your actions and how they might be perceived by that non-hunting majority.
Amen. No, that's very well said. And I think it's unfortunate in the way the world works, right? Like we have to be on the defense more so than we are allowed to be proud of what what we represent in hunting and conservation.
Yeah.
But very well
Yeah.
said. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Chuck. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to
Go ahead.
say, I really, really respect Jana. She knows I tell her that all the time, and I tell everybody how much I love Jana and respect her. And I watch what she posts online, and she's very proud and unapologetic, and always has such a great way of presenting things. And some of the best things I love about Jana is how she handles her critics online, and she's just so
Absolutely.
unflappable. And Chuck, we talked about that the other day, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
She can take a troll's comment and somehow make that person sound like an idiot without being really rude about it. I don't know how she does it, and I don't know how, Jana, how you have the thick skin to take it, and so, but I really, Jana's got the magic touch. It might be a little bit harder for some of us, and but we need champions like that to stay the course.
Exactly.
Well,
I guess sorry, go ahead, Jana. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, thank you so much. That's so sweet. That just lights me up. I appreciate that. And trust me when I say it took a while to get thick skin. And that's a good message for new hunters too. You're going to get attacked on social media. That's a beautiful thing of Spike Camp, right? There's no one here is going to attack you. But let's face it, we usually have Facebook accounts and Instagram, and you're going to get attacked. And stand tall. I only engage if they're name calling bad, like the C word and the B word, and I'm not talking cute and beautiful, then they're blocked, banned, whatever. But
Yeah, exactly.
if they, if sometimes they just make
Cute and
themselves
beautiful.
such easy targets. And I kind of like to turn it humorous and go back and forth a little bit, or I screen grab their comment and then I put it on another post, and I kind of make fun of them sometimes. But if they have a legitimate question, like I thought mountain lions were endangered, they really do think that. So I will have dialogue till the cows come home about questions that are legitimate. If someone is out to just attack you, it's not worth it. I mean, it's worth it making a little bit of fun, but it's not. I mean, if they're being rude or crude, ban, block, delete their comment. That's the beauty of freedom of speech. I don't have to leave your comment up there. I don't have to get into a big debate with you if I don't want to, but I appreciate the kind words, Renee. Let me just say, this thick skin came from a lot of years. It took me a long time in the beginning to not take everything so personal, but I'm glad I can make you laugh.
Oh yeah, it's a long game, and I think you definitely. I'll just add this: you have the uncanny ability to absolutely destroy somebody with a smile and a compliment. It's unbelievable, and make everybody laugh along the way. I just love watching your feeds on Instagram. They're awesome.
I appreciate that.
Well, ladies, again, Blake and I just want to offer a very special welcome to all of you in the women hunt community. For Spike Camp is your home, your new home now. You're more than welcome to do it, share all of your resources, your information, your events, participate in the community, and enjoy the space. That's what it's here for. We want to be inclusive to all, and we're very, very excited to have you guys as part of our family.
Thank you very much, Chuck and Blake. Very much enjoyed this, and we're happy to be a part of Spike Camp. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, I just want to close with one little quick thing here, a little bit of Spike Camp business. We are running this really great contest with Women Hunt to give away the rifle and the Kifaru backpack, the Weatherby rifle and Kifaru backpack. But as a member of Spike Camp, everybody gets to participate in our monthly member rewards program. So there's details on the platform on how that works. But basically, if you participate and engage on the platform, you get points. And Blake runs a leaderboard. We tally up the points. And we have all these generous companies that give us things every month to give away to the members. So we do a draw once a month randomly. And this month, we've got 2 British Columbia small businesses that are starting up in the hunting space. One's been around for quite a while, and the other one is just starting. Ape Equipment, I'm wearing his hat tonight. Alec, good buddy of ours. He has a line of custom-made gaiters that he hand makes. These things are bulletproof, the best gaiters on the market. He's given away a set of those this month. And another good buddy of ours, Cody Rockefeller, has started a company called Stone Point Outdoor Gear. And he's making a few products, but he's getting started in the game bag sector as well. And we're giving away a set of his ultralight game bags this month. And I just used them on a mule deer last week, and they're unbelievable. So thanks. We like to support small local business and run the rewards program. So we'll be able to find this episode on our podcast platform and YouTube. And yeah, if you happen to miss it tonight, or if you were here tonight and know someone that missed it, this is one of our best ones yet, and we look forward to sharing it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.